The Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. Imagine a book so creepy, so forbidden that just reading it might drive you mad. That's the Necronomicon, the ultimate cursed book cooked up by H.P. Lovecraft, the godfather of cosmic horror, in his short story, The Hound. Picture this. It's 738 AD, and an Arab named Abdul al-Hazred is scribbling away at night, writing down some seriously messed up stuff. He calls it al-Azif, which sounds like insects at night, or maybe demons screaming. Spoiler alert, al-Hazred doesn't get a happy ending. Legend says he got eaten alive in broad daylight by an invisible monster. Yikes. So what's inside this nightmare fuel? We're talking instructions for summoning cosmic entities like Yog-Sothoth and Cthulhu, spells to raise the dead, and chants that could break your brain if you understood them. Lovecraft's 1927 History of the Necronomicon maps out the book's fictional journey from Arabic to Greek, then Latin. It was banned and burned more times than a college student's attempt at cooking. Lovecraft himself wrote that anyone trying to master this book usually ends up dead or wishing they were. If you've seen The Evil Dead, you know how a Book of the Dead can utterly ruin your day. The Codex Gigas, the Devil's Bible. All right, buckle up for the Codex Gigas, aka the Devil's Bible. This isn't your grandma's bedtime storybook. It's a monster book with a devilish reputation. So massive it takes 2 people to lift. We're talking 165 pounds of medieval madness, standing 3 feet tall. This bad boy was created back in the 13th century in what's now the Czech Republic. Now, here's where it gets wild. Legend says a monk broke some serious rules and got sentenced to a gruesome death, being walled up alive. Desperate times call for desperate measures, right? So, our monk makes a deal with the big bad himself, Satan. The devil's task? Write this entire book in one night. But wait, there's more. Scientists say it would take 20 years of non-stop writing just to copy the text. So, either this monk had some serious Red Bull, or something freaky was going on. What's inside? The whole Latin Bible, some medical stuff, exorcism spells, just in case, and a calendar. But the real showstopper? A full-page portrait of the devil himself. Talk about an author's signature. This devil's diary has had quite the journey. It was stolen by Swedish soldiers in 1648. Those guys knew how to party. And now it's chilling in Sweden's National Library. The Codex Gigas has been popping up in pop culture too. Fans of supernatural might recognize it. Those Winchester boys sure love their cursed books. The Book of Soga. Here's a book so mind-bendingly cryptic that even the smartest dude in 16th century England couldn't crack it. Enter the Book of Soga, also known as Aldaraya, the ultimate brain teaser of the occult world. This mysterious manuscript first popped up in the personal library of John Dee. Now, Dee wasn't your average Joe. He was Queen Elizabeth I's go-to guy for math and magic. Think of him as the 16th century version of Tony Stark, but with more candles and fewer robots. The Book of Soga's claim to fame? A mix of magical incantations, astrological calculations, and demonology. Its 36 tables of letters, each 36 times 36, remain largely indecipherable, making Sudoku look like child's play. Dee was so stumped he decided to phone a friend, or in this case, an angel. Yep, you heard that right. Through his buddy Edward Kelly, basically Dee's personal psychic hotline, Dee apparently got the angel Uriel on speed dial. According to Dee's diary, ancient equivalent of Instagram stories, Uriel spilled the tea. Only the Archangel Michael could fully understand the book. Talk about exclusive content. Here's where it gets wild. After Dee kicked the bucket, the Book of Soga pulled a Houdini and vanished. Fast forward to 1994. And boom, 2 copies suddenly show up, one in the British Library and another in the Bodleian Library. This angelic puzzle book has left its mark on pop culture too. BBC's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell featured it as a powerful grimoire that could raise the dead. Makes your school textbooks seem pretty boring, huh? Thepicatrix or Gayat al-Hakim, your cosmic cheat sheet. Ever wished you had a guidebook for harnessing the power of the stars? Well, medieval folks had exactly that. Thepicatrix, aka the Goal of the Wise. Flashback to the 11th century Spain, and some mysterious genius, let's call him Pseudo-Maslama, decides to compile the ultimate cosmic encyclopedia. This dude wasn't messing around. He pulled info from over 200 other works. Talk about a master's degree in magical studies. Now, here's where it gets spicy. King Alfonso X of Castile, a real bookworm king, was so hyped about this Arabic text that he ordered it translated into Spanish and Latin. So, what kind of cosmic life hacks are we talking about here? We've got celestial invocations, talismanic designs, and alchemical formulas, including instructions for conquering a city using a Mars-powered action figure. The Thepicatrix advises, make an image of Mars in the hour of Mars and bury it in the middle of the city, and that city will not cease to be in a state of war. Ancient problems require ancient solutions, am I right? Fast forward to modern times, and the Thepicatrix is still casting its spell. It even made a cameo in Umberto Eco's mind-bending novel, Foucault's Pendulum. Looks like some books never go out of style. Sham's al-Maarif, the sunshine of dark magic. Before you move forward, listen to what a reader on Amazon said. Disgusting book, which tells one about how to black magic, very evil book, can destroy your life by reading it. Ever thought your algebra homework was tough? Meet Sham's al-Maarif, the book that turns math into magic. Literally. This isn't just any old spell book. It's the heavyweight champion of Arabic occultism. Step into the 13th century, and Ahmad al-Buni, a Sufi mystic from Algeria, decides to drop the ultimate magical mixtape. This book is so revered, feared, and banned that it's like the Harry Potter series of the Arab world, but way more terrifying and exceeds the popularity of the Thepicatrix. Some Islamic scholars, like the fun police Ibn Taymiyyah, called al-Buni a devil worshipper, but despite its controversy and hatred, it still has a large readership. So, crack open this mystical math book and you'll find divine names, numerology, astrology, and how to make talismans that would make Iron Man jealous. It delves into the mystical properties of the Arabic alphabet, teaching readers how to harness the power of letters for everything from healing to casting evil spells. But the real showstopper? Magic squares. Imagine Sudoku, but instead of solving puzzles, you're summoning celestial powers. Talk about leveling up your game night. These mystical math tricks got so popular that by the 15th century, Sufis were all over them. Some soldiers in India even wore shirts with these number charts for protection in battle. Ancient bulletproof vests, anyone? If that wasn't magical enough, al-Buni's got the 411 on how to call up angels and good jinn. Just be careful. One wrong move and you might accidentally summon a bad jinn. And you thought hitting reply all was embarrassing. The Grand Grimoire, Satan's little black book. Featured in films like The Ninth Gate, the Grand Grimoire, aka The Red Dragon, is basically Devil's Manual. A book so hardcore, it makes Harry Potter look like Goodnight Moon. Let's journey back to the 15th century, or maybe the 19th. Details are sketchy when you're dealing with hell. And someone decides to write the ultimate guide to dark magic. Now, legend says this bad boy was penned by King Solomon. You know, the wise guy from the Bible. But let's be real. It was probably cooked up by an Italian occultist named Antonio Veneziana del Rabina. Sounds like a guy who'd have a killer pasta recipe, right? It wasn't until the 19th century that the Grand Grimoire really hit the big time. Two occultists, Eliphas Levi and Aleister Crowley, wrote about its supposed powers, turning it into the rock star of the magical world. The book's content allegedly includes instructions for summoning demons, angels, and spirits, and performing various magical rituals. The star of this demonic show? Lucifuge Rofocale, the Prime Minister of Hell. Yep, even the underworld has bureaucracy. The book provides detailed instructions on how to summon this infernal VIP, make pacts, even find hidden treasures, and probably how to file your hellish taxes. The most controversial part, the Sanctum Regnum, is actually how to make a blood pact with Lucifer for dummies. The Munich Manual of Demonic Magic, Hell's Kitchen Cookbook. Fancy summoning a demon army? No? Well, someone in 15th century Bavaria sure did, and they wrote a whole manual about it. Welcome to the Munich Manual of Demonic Magic, aka the Necromancer's Manual, the ultimate how to make friends in low places guide. Let's set the stage. You're a 15th century Bavarian, and instead of brewing beer, you decide to brew up some serious trouble. This Latin manuscript, found hiding in the Bavarian State Library, is essentially demonic rituals for dummies. So, what's on the demonic menu? We've got summoning rituals that'd make your Ouija board blush, fortune-telling tricks that put Zoltar to shame, and ways to bend supernatural forces to your will. The rest of the grimoire contains complete instructions for invoking demons such as Satan, Lilith, Astaroth, Valak, and Samael, as well as supposedly attaining favors and supernatural powers from them. But wait, there's more. The manual's pièce de résistance is a ritual to create a ghost army. Yep, you read that right. The book promises you will see the dead riding on horses, battling and fighting among themselves. Now that's an ultimate Halloween party trick. If you've seen the movie The Witch, you've seen this book's influence in action. That poor 17th century family in New England, they're basically dealing with the aftermath of someone who read this manual and thought, challenge accepted. The Malus Maleficarum, the OG witch hunting for dummies. Brace yourself for a book so nasty it makes Mean Girls look like a Disney princess movie. Enter the Malus Maleficarum, or Hammer of Witches. Step into a time machine and land in 15th century Germany, where you'll find clergyman Heinrich Kramer in a spectacularly foul mood. So, what does he do? Write a book that's basically How to Witch Hunt 101. Talk about anger management issues. This isn't your average bedtime story. The Malus Maleficarum is divided into 3 parts. 1. Theoretical justifications for witch hunting. 2. Vivid descriptions of witches' alleged practices. 3. Legal procedures for identifying, trying, and executing suspected witches. It is packed with more misogyny than a men's rights forum and enough paranoia to make your conspiracy theorist uncle look chill. One of its greatest hits? All witchcraft comes from carnal lust, which is in women insatiable. Yikes. Somebody needed a hug. Here's the kicker. The Catholic Church initially said, thanks but no thanks. But then the Protestant Reformation hit, and suddenly everyone wanted a piece of this witch-hunting action. It fueled witch hunts across Europe and even made its way to colonial America. Salem witch trials, anyone? For nearly 200 years, this book was outselling everything except the Bible. Move over, Harry Potter? This medieval bestseller is still casting its spell on pop culture. Ever seen Arthur Miller's The Crucible? That's the Malus Maleficarum's influence in action. And in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, it shows up as a powerful grimoire. The Voynich Manuscript, the book that broke the internet. Before it existed, think of a book so weird, so mind-bogglingly cryptic, that even the NSA would say, nah, we're good. Meet the Voynich Manuscript, the OG of unsolved mysteries. This enigmatic book has inspired countless novels, including The Voynich Cipher by Russell Blake. Taking a trip to 1912, where rare book dealer Wilfred Voynich stumbles upon what looks like an alien's diary. Carbon dating says it's from the 15th century, but it might as well be from Mars. We're talking 240 pages of pure what the heck, showing plants that look like they're straight out of Pokemon, star charts that would confuse NASA, and naked ladies chilling in green jello baths. No, I'm not making this up. The real kicker? The whole thing is written in a language that makes Egyptian hieroglyphs look like Dr. Seuss. Cryptographers, codebreakers, and probably a few stoned college students have been trying to crack this bad boy for centuries. So far, nada. Theories about its origin are wilder than your aunt's Facebook conspiracies. My personal favorite? Time-traveling botanists with really bad handwriting. The Egyptian Book of the Dead. Known to the cool kids, aka ancient Egyptians, as the Book of Coming Forth by Day, this isn't your average funeral pamphlet. It's packed with about 200 spells to help you navigate the afterlife like a boss. Think of it as a spiritual GPS for your soul. The star of the show? The weighing of the heart ceremony. Imagine standing before Osiris, god of dead, while Anubis, the jackal-headed deity, puts your heart on a scale against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth. If your heart's lighter, you're golden. If not, well, let's just say there's a monster named Amit waiting to have you for lunch. No pressure, right? But that's not all, folks. Behold the Shabti spell, because even in death, those dishes won't do themselves. It's the ultimate afterlife hack. This ancient trick has left its mark on pop culture too. H. Rider Haggard's novel. She drew inspiration from it. And let's not forget The Mummy, 1999. Who knew ancient curses could be so entertaining? The Book of Abramelin. Ever wished you had a direct line to the spiritual realm? Well, grab your cosmic phone book, because the Book of Abramelin is about to make your celestial dreams come true. It's somewhere between the 14th and 15th century, and a Jewish traveler named Abraham of Worms is like, you know what? I'm gonna write down how to chat with angels. Not just any angels, mind you, but your very own holy guardian angel. It's like having a celestial BFF on speed dial. So, what's the catch? Oh, just a casual 6-month ritual of prayer, abstinence, and magical shenanigans. Think of it as a spiritual boot camp, but instead of push-ups, you're pushing the boundaries of reality. No biggie, right?